Hello, everybody. It's Rosie here, and welcome to this webinar. I'm just going to get the screen up so you can see what we're going to be working with today. And it's lovely that you have taken the time this afternoon to join me. I'm really excited to be sharing this Conceive with Ease, what the doctors won't tell you. You're more in control than you know webinar. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rosanna Kaliabetsos, and I'm known as Rosie. And I'm going to be taking you through this presentation for the next hour. There's loads of information we're going to be covering. So it's a really good idea for you to grab a notebook and pen, maybe a cup of something yummy, and settle down somewhere comfortable. It will be really helpful if you're undisturbed, because we're going to be doing a little bit of work together that will require your attention and your participation. So first of all, let's just open your heart, mind and ears to what you already know deep inside of you. The stuff that I'm sharing with you is already there, somewhere deep, deep underneath all the programming. This truth exists. And this is a journey of remembering that we're embarking on together. And I really am so excited to be sharing it with you. So now's the time to enter a magical state of receptivity. And we're going to take a few deep breaths together just to get us in the place. So I invite you to have a little stretch of your arms and allow yourself to rub your hands together. And then bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your womb space. And just start to become aware of your breath. So we're entering into the creative space of being rather than doing. And this is what mothers do. We learn to be present with what is. And we're going to be moving into the space of co-creating the reality we want. So just take a few deep breaths into your heart. Let the last day go and exhale down through your body into your womb. Another nice deep breath in. And this time sigh it out, so breathe down through the whole of your body into the earth. And one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, let everything go. Just bring yourself into now. So we're learning to be with what is. We're connecting with each other. And we're bringing love, acceptance, forgiveness, kindness, and compassion to what we find. Today you're going to discover 3 secrets. The first one is one change to make your morning routine so that you can prepare to welcome your soul child. And I'll talk about that in a moment. The second secret is around moon magic, so how understanding the lunar cycle will dramatically increase your ability to conceive. And the third secret that we're going to be looking at is the Freud effect, what your grandmother has told you, or what your grandmother has to do with your fertility and what you can do about it. And actually it goes way beyond your grandmother. It goes to your great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, as far back down the maternal line as you can imagine. And we're going to have an action point for each of these secrets. So you've got something that you can do straight away to support you on your journey. Whatever happens, this whole webinar is going to give you a lot of information that you can get started with straight away. And I'm going to be talking about a course that I've got on offer at the end. So just bear in mind that whatever you do, you're going to come away with a lot of information no matter what. Now, before we go any further, who am I and what do I know exactly about all these secrets? Well, who am I? I'm Rosie. I'm the mother to one 15-year-old daughter, Scarlett, amazing teacher of mine. I'm a senior yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance UK. Most importantly is that I'm a birthlight teacher and tutor, and I've spent the last 15 years working with fertility, pregnancy, babies, birth, postnatal recovery, and everything to do with women's cycles and yoga. And I'm a teacher trainer for Birthlight, so I've had to learn all of that I teach on a very, very deep level, and that has influenced so much what you're going to be learning today. I'm also a doula, so I attend births, and I've seen what I teach in the actual time of labour and how effective it is. I'm a Reiki master through my late mother, Mary Evans, an emotional mental detox coach, and we'll be talking about how important that is later. I'm an intuitive empowerment coach, and this is really important because this is what's helped me to work successfully with fertility over the years and my clients, because I work with the soul of the babies that come. So when there's a mismatch between a woman, a couple wanting to have babies and the baby not coming, then there's usually something, an alignment that needs to occur. And there are changes that need to be made within the maternal environment and within the couple sometimes, that will then allow the baby to come in. And that's where I work, in this intuitive, receptive way, with great results. I'm also the founder of Enjoy Yoga, the creator of Rosy Glow, and the co-creator of the Rosie and Kate pre and postnatal DVDs. These are some of my accolades. You will notice that my Reiki Master certificate is not there. You'll know why in a moment. And I really want to honour my biggest teachers, because they are basically why I'm here today, offering you what I'm offering you. I've got Dr. Francoise Friedman, who's the Birthlight founder. She's on the left. She has taught me so much and initiated me on so many levels into this women's magic. Susanna Kennedy is the founder of the Reality Crafting Institute, who taught me to be an emotional mental detox coach, and she's in the middle. And my lovely daughter, Scarlett Luna Clementson, who is my greatest teacher on so many levels. And I must not forget my lovely mummy, my late mum, Mary Evans, my Reiki Master. And she never quite got round to printing my Reiki Master certificate before she left this planet, which is why I don't have one. But I am a working Reiki Master. You just have to take my word for it. Okay, heads up, please stay to the end of the call, because not only are you going to get lots of information, but also I'm giving away 3 bonuses for everybody who stays on. So I hope you will. And these 3 fertility bonuses are going to support you to get going straight away, both in feeling safe inside yourself, also in your environment, and also creating the opportunity for you to maximize the support that's available to you. So the energetic support that's available to you. And those are my gifts to you. So hang in there. All will be revealed. All right, moving into secret number 1. 1 change to make to your morning routine to prepare you to welcome your soul child. Morning routine. What are those first moments like when you wake up in the morning? What are the first thoughts that you think? What are the first things that you do? It's really important to consider that there is this twilight time between your waking and sleeping state, both first thing in the morning and also when you go to sleep at night, where the predominant brainwaves are theta brainwaves, which are highly programmable brainwaves. And this is the first secret I want to share with you, that how you start your day, starting it with intention, and how you end your day before you go into your sleep state really helps you to affect the subconscious programming that is already in operation in your body. And you can actually influence your cells. This is something that we don't realize enough, and it's part of the new science paradigm. This awareness that we're not just genetics and we have no control over them. Actually, there's a lot that we can control, and we can control it with our heart, with our mind, with our intention. So the magic of twilight sleep, so important. And I'm going to start you straight off now, just doing a little contrast exercise. So close your eyes for a moment and let me know how you feel. How do you feel in this moment? So I've got lots of you that are registered on this call. Some of you are on live, some of you will be on later. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you have been wanting to have a baby for a long time, whether you've gone through lots of cycles of IVF, or you've had repeat miscarriages, 1 miscarriage, terminations, whatever's gone on in your life, just take a moment to reflect on how you feel now on your journey. Are you in a good place? Are you in a challenging place? How expanded, how contracted do you feel? And give yourself a moment just to imagine staying on the path that you currently are on. So without making any changes, just hoping and wishing and praying and doing what you're doing without any extra information. How does your being feel now? You generally calm? You generally quite stressed, anxious? How does your head feel? How does your throat feel? How is your jaw? How about your breathing and your heart? How do they feel? And what about your belly? Do you feel like you're holding tension in your body? Do you feel at ease? And register all of that. And now just take a moment to blow a few raspberries. So go, and then have a few shakes of your arms and your legs. Just shake everything out. Let everything go that we've just done. And let's come back into another feeling space. I want you now to imagine for a moment that you've got the news that you want. And not only have you got the news that you want, you know that this is a viable pregnancy. You've got through those first weeks, the pregnancy is established, all of the information is saying that this pregnancy is going really well. And you have the opportunity now to feel excited, to feel joy, to feel as though, yes, finally, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm becoming a mum. And just tell me how this feels in your body. Notice how you expand or you contract with this news. Let's just take a moment to imagine that everything that could reassure you that this is a healthy, viable pregnancy has been provided to you. And it is safe for you to say, yeah, I'm here now. I'm where I want to be. Yes. I'm in the makings of a mother. And notice again how your body feels. Just notice whether you feel expanded, whether you feel heavy, whether you feel light, how your heart feels, how your womb feels, how your head feels, how your breathing rate feels, your heart, breath. Is it easy to breathe deeply? And generally, if I was to talk about your disposition, does it feel sunny? And let yourself enjoy that feeling state. And do notice if actually the contrary comes up, if you find that you tense, then there's some information there about stuff that needs to be cleared, and that's to do more with the emotional mental detoxification I'll talk about later. Sometimes we really fear having what we want. Fear of failure and fear of success are equal in the sense that if we finally have what we want, what happens then? And that can be so in the subconscious that we don't even realize. Now, between these two states we've worked with, how do you want to feel? Which of the two is the way that you want to feel? And if you had the opportunity to get into this feeling state every morning of feeling the way you want to feel, would you do that for yourself? And would you recommit to it in the evening before you go to sleep? Just as you're dropping off, just as you're coming back. Have a think about that. Okay, just before we get into our exercise, staying in that nice feeling state, I want to talk about why it's important to stop trying to get pregnant. Trying implies that it is difficult, and I'm sure if you've been through a difficult time and say, Rosie, it is difficult. But the point is, using a word like trying, having trying in your perception means that it's something you're not achieving. And if it's something you're not achieving, it's something you feel you're failing at. So subconscious and conscious mind need to work together. If your consciousness is talking about trying, then your subconscious and your body are working with trying rather than being. Do you feel that trying is a vibrational match to being pregnant? I can tell you now it isn't. Being pregnant is being pregnant. It's not trying to be pregnant. Have you heard of the concept, fake it till you make it? I'm not going to go too much into the science of things because there are books you can read that are amazing, but I'll talk a little bit about the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus is a part of the brain that informs both the hypothalamus, pituitary and adrenal gland axis, which I'll talk about later, but also it's a perception aspect of our brains. And the hypothalamus cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So you getting into a feeling state of imagining that you are pregnant is the best way to start to get your body to respond and be receptive to being pregnant. If your focus and your perception is around trying to be pregnant, then that is what your body is responding to, trying. And we want to get into the state of being, not trying. So I want you to remember that the power of your imagination is something that we attribute to children. And so often we're told to stop daydreaming, stop imagining. And that is the worst thing we can possibly do in order to prevent us from co-creating what we want to create. So being in the space of actually imagining that you already have what you want is like creating the magnetism in your being to attract it into your life. And this is the secret that goes with number one. It's about getting into the feeling state in the morning of already having what you want and going about your day as though you're already pregnant. So I'm asking you the question now, how would I feel about myself and my life if I was pregnant now? And that's what I'd like you to step into, because that is what's going to start the cascade of events that's going to allow it to be possible. And I have seen this work so many times. I'm just going to ask you to trust me on this. This works, and you have the power to do it. I'm going to introduce you to intention setting and reality crafting. So we've just done a little bit of intention setting, but we're going to move into it in a bit more detail. Now, reality crafting is my special sauce. It's what I learned through Susanna, and it's also what I do in my online coaching program. So when you're live with me online and we're working together through a video webinar, we do reality crafting every session, and this is what helps us to clear the blocks to what we want. We're going to have a little go at that in a moment, okay? It's basically an alchemical process of tuning into the feeling state you want to be in and clearing the blocks that hold you in a different vibrational frequency. And I'll talk more about the brain a bit later, but the conscious and the subconscious mind need to be working together in order for us to actually have what we want. And when there is conflict, there are delays, there are procrastinations, and invariably we don't get what we want. So it keeps reinforcing the idea that things aren't working the way we want them to. And we really need to divert our attention to where we can feel empowered and strong. We are all energy on a quantum level, and we affect our energy with our thoughts and our feelings and our intentions. So we're going to give this a go, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. Just before, let's set an intention to conceive with ease for an easy, happy, and healthy pregnancy. So can you rub your hands together again for me one more time? And as you rub your hands together, bring your hands to your womb. And you can actually connect your thumbs together and your index fingers together. And this is going to create a mudra called Trimukti Mudra, which helps to energize the pelvis, the womb, and to bring more prana, more life force, more blood flow into the womb. So as you bring your hands there, the first thing I want you to think about and to perceive is how you feel about your womb. Is your womb a friend of yours, or is your womb a traitor? And if I trigger you with what I'm saying, go with it, release the tears. This is all a sign of what's blocking you. And I want you just for a moment to forget everything you've learned from the doctors and just to come into this space with me. It's very powerful and very magical. So our wombs are our friends. The Italians have a saying, we feel with our wombs. And if we want to create a life in this womb, it needs to be in harmony with us. We need to be in harmony. So just for a moment, however you feel about your womb, give yourself permission to love your womb and set an intention to start working with your womb. We want to start working together. Allow yourself to breathe deeply, and we're going to repeat a few statements together 3 times. And again, I want you to notice how your body responds to them, because it's going to tell you where there is a block. So first of all, I am open to a happy and healthy pregnancy. I am open to a happy and healthy pregnancy. I am open to a happy and healthy pregnancy. Just notice how that feels. Notice how your body responds. Notice where you feel your body respond. Let a big sigh out. And now the next statement. I am open to conceiving with ease. I am open to conceiving with ease. I am open to conceiving with ease. Notice what lights up in your body. Brilliant. And moving on to the third one. I am open to growing a happy and healthy baby. I am open to growing a happy and healthy baby. I am open to growing a happy and healthy baby. Just have a feeling sense which of these three statements was the most powerful statement for you. And if you responded well to all three of them, brilliant. Now, you may well have heard of positive affirmations or sankalpas. So, you say positive things to yourself, and that's supposed to alter your reality and your law of attraction. You're supposed to get what you want. But invariably, there's a lot of information out there about why this doesn't work. Just saying positive things doesn't work. And you know why? Because if your inner critic is saying, no, you're not, it's not going to work. It's going to block it. So if for you, the inner critic in your world, and there's no judgment here, is very, very prevalent, very strong, then what you can do is ask yourself the question, how would I feel if I was open to a happy and healthy pregnancy? How would I feel if I was open to conceiving with ease? How would I feel if I was open to growing a happy and healthy baby? And you move back into the realm of make-believe. Yeah, you move back into the realm of your imagination. Couple that with bringing your subconscious and your conscious mind into alignment, and that is when positive statements actually work. Okay, and this is going to lead me into the reality crafting we're going to do now. So just before we go into this slide, actually, let's go back. So rub your hands together. I do this a lot because this helps us to harmonize the right and left hemisphere of the brain, and also to bring us into all systems of the body into harmony. So congruence. And just stretch your arms up and around. And I want you to imagine that you've got a sphere around you. Okay, you've got a huge sphere around you, and you can make it as big as you can imagine. It could be as big as the whole room that you're in, as big as the house that you're in. And this sphere is a sphere of compassion, and it's a sphere of compassion for you and everything that you have been through. When you look at the walls of the sphere, it is made up of trillions of little spheres, all spinning on their own axis. And each and every one of those spheres is actually helping to harmonize the energy that is around you into the vibration of compassion. There's more to it because each of them actually represents a different reality, and we are multidimensional beings, but that's beyond this program, and that's something we cover in the coaching program. But for now, imagining this sphere, and just imagining it's around you and it's loving you no matter what. And then bringing your hands to your heart. We're going to repeat some statements together, and I'm going to repeat these statements as well. But we're going to go through a little process that is all part of the reality crafting. We'll be coming to our I am presence. And the I am presence is basically your higher self working with you. It's very, very powerful. The more you do it, the more it works. And it will seem like you're just going through the motions to start with. But once you've done it a few times, you will notice every time you say it, you step into a different energetic state, a different paradigm. And this is how we become co-creators of our reality. So just repeat after me. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am pure love. I am pure light. I am pure wisdom. I am pure power. I am pure peace. I am pure joy. I am a multi-dimensional being of synthesis and fusion. I am the source of my creations. I am the creator of my own reality. I am open to a happy and healthy pregnancy. I am open to conceiving with ease. I am open to growing a happy and healthy baby. I am that I am. Take a few deep breaths, and if you haven't closed your eyes yet, please close your eyes. From your heart, breathe down to your womb and down into the earth. So make your connection with this planet. This is the planet we're on. Now, next time you breathe in, breathe into your heart, and as you breathe out, send your breath up through the crown of your head and send it up to the sun. The sun is our local source power, but it connects us to the source of all that is. So send your awareness as far up as you can, to the source of all that is, and bring down a ray of bright white light through our sun, through your head, through your body, and send it all the way down into the center of the earth so that you're anchoring it into the heart of our planet. And imagine for a moment that the heart of this planet of ours smiles, and she offers up her own ray of light. It's a ruby red ray of light that we breathe all the way up our bodies and out through the crown of our head, through the sun to the source of all that is. And so we anchor source into Gaia and Gaia into source, and we are the conduits of energy. Feel that energy within you and allow those two pillars of light, the bright white light and the ruby red light, to merge into the soft pink light of infinite love. Allow it to fill your body, and don't worry if you can't visualize, just know it's happening. There's no need for you to visualize. It's okay if that's a problem. Just let it fill your body and let it fill the whole sphere that's surrounding you, which is in fact your reality bubble. And so as it fills the sphere, become aware of this feeling vibration and the compassion that surrounds you. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create a little sphere right in front of you, just the same as the big one. They're holographic spheres, and they can grow in size. And what I'd like you to do now is to breathe into that sphere any resistance that you have within your physical body, within your cells, your molecules, your atoms, the subatomic particles of your being, and the quantum waves and particles that make up who you are. Just breathe any resistance to having what you want, a happy and healthy pregnancy, into the sphere. And you don't need to worry about the details. Any images, any feelings, any thoughts that come up, just breathe them into that sphere and allow that sphere to expand. It's going to expand as big as you need it to be. Take your time. I'm going to give you a few moments. It really doesn't need to take long. Your body wants to release it. So send into that sphere any disappointments. Send into that sphere any challenges that you've had, any difficult moments, any doubts, any fears, and any stress and concern. Well done. Now the sphere is going to start to spin, and it's going to keep drawing out of you any resistance from your being. And while it's doing that, we're going to invite in the violet magenta ray of passionate compassion. And this passionate compassion is going to love up everything that's in the sphere. It's just energy within you that we're going to transform. So from the crown of your head, imagine a beautiful ray of violet magenta light moving down through your body. Anchor it into the heart of Gaia and let it flood your body. So now you're filled with violet magenta light. And as it fills you up, it overflows. And as it overflows, from your heart, a laser beam of this beautiful violet magenta light pours into the sphere in front of you. And like a fireman's hose, it loves up everything that's in there. All that resistance gets loved up until the whole of the sphere is filled with passionate compassion. So there's lots of us on the call. We're all energizing each other's spheres and intentions. There's pure compassion here. Feel how your vibration changes. You're doing wonderfully. I can feel you, and it's just amazing. So just keep going. Love it all up. It's nothing other than love, pure compassion that we're pouring into everything we've experienced so far. That's it. Well done. Take a nice deep breath in. And know that it is done. So if it's still working for you, that's okay, but know that it is done. And now that it is done, all of that stuck energy has been transformed into passionate compassion to fuel what you want to create. So now expand that sphere that's in front of you, that little sphere, expand it so it fills up the whole of the big sphere that's surrounding you. Step into that energy. Feel it, rejoice in it. Imagine that it's bringing everything you want into your womb. Invite a little one, a little being into your womb. Fill your womb. So if you've had negative feelings towards your womb, just put everything there now, all this passionate compassion to fill up your womb. And when you feel like you're vibrating and shining with this light, allow it to fill your heart and your brain too. So all three of our brains are working together. Wonderful. And hopefully you can really feel this. I can feel it for you. It's beautiful. So we're going to anchor it now into your being. So please repeat after me. Anchor, lock, and seal. Recalibrate, align. Balance and harmonize for graceful integration. And so it is. Slowly start to bring yourself back and just notice how you feel. Well done. So that's a little introduction to reality crafting. And as I said, this is something that I offer on my coaching programs when you're working with me live. We're going to move on now, and this is the action point from secret number 1. And this is my offering to you as a little reality crafting morning practice. And we will send you this information so that you've got it to work with it. But I am harmonizing all 100 trillion cells of my being with easy conception and healthy pregnancy. What I'm asking you to do is to repeat that statement 3 times in your twilight waking moments, followed by the words, I am that, I am. And you say those words, I am that, I am, 3 times. Now, considering what we've just done and the feeling vibration that you're in, every time you say that statement, I am harmonizing all 100 trillion cells of my being with easy conception and healthy pregnancy, will bring up this feeling. And the I am that I am is you confirming that this is what you are vibrating with and you're aligning with. So that's my little gift for today. I suggest you commit to it for at least 40 days. Let me know if you think you can do it. You can say yes in the chat box, and you can let me know if you can do it. Okay, so moving on. Let me just move this back. So, moving on to action 2, secret 2, moon magic, how understanding the lunar cycle will dramatically increase your ability to conceive. All right, so the long and the short of this, the moon, women, lunar, this is us, our feminine power, our feminine energy. And also the moon has a 28-day cycle. Now, I'll move on to some facts in a moment, but what I'd like to know is what you call your moon time. Now, your moon time, if you're not used to that word, is your period. And how do you feel about it? But this is important because it links back to these programmed states that we inherit from our time in the womb and all the way through our childhood. They get embedded by the age of 7. And then our conscious mind kicks in, and different brainwave patterns mean that we live our lives with more critical awareness, but we have all this subconscious programming from our time in the womb and the first 7 years of life having kicked in. So good question to ask yourself is, we have many ways to refer to our moon time. So what is the words that you usually use to refer to your moon time? Is it your period? You've got your period, you're on your menstrual cycle, it's your moon time, you're getting the painters in, on the blob, the curse. My lovely assistant Louise has a poll for this one, so you can let me know which of those you actually use. But in the meantime, the reason I'm asking this question is because it's important how you relate to your cycle, how you relate to your ability to release an egg every month from your womb is also going to affect how you feel about having a fertilized egg in your womb. And many of us have learned to have a very negative association with our womb, so with our menstrual cycle. Is it a curse? You know, they're religious connotations, it's dirty, you know, we need to be kept away. More important than anything is, what did you learn from your mum about your moon time? What did you learn about your mum about when she got her moon time? How did she feel? Did she suffer? Was she angry? When you first got your moon time, how did you feel about it? Were you excited? Were you embarrassed? You know, all these things tell us a lot about how we actually feel around this whole creation cycle, which I'm talking about the moon because it relates to the rhythms of nature. Now, procreation is a human activity that is kind of why we're here, right? So the further we've got away from nature, the harder it has been to conceive. And we have all sorts of fertility problems that are going on in the world today that are very much a part of the Western world. So we've switched the fight, flight, freeze response, which is all about, oh, there's a tiger, oh no, there's a hurricane. Now it's just being in a constant state of high alert, because every time you turn the news on or you read a newspaper, you've got another thing to be frightened of. So here's another subconscious thing. Do we feel safe to bring a baby into this world today? What kind of world are we bringing this baby in? We might have a real desire to have a baby, but there might be a conflict within us around the fact that the world is not very safe at the moment. It doesn't feel like a loving, conscious place to bring a child into. And I really want you to be inspired by what's coming next, because actually the babies that are coming and the women and partners who are having a hard time bringing babies into the world, in my feeling, are actually aligning with bringing in the next generation of peacekeepers. So whenever I've worked with a client who's had a challenge bringing a baby in, I've had to raise their consciousness levels to match the consciousness of the soul that's coming, because these children are sensitive and they are not going to operate on autopilot. They're not going to do as they're told in the current systems that are breaking down, that are full of, you know, greed, full of lies, full of deceit. The fact that we're still having wars on this planet is a crazy thing, and it doesn't need to happen. This isn't just what I feel. This is something that is written in many books, and we will move on and I will show you what I mean by that as we go further. So a little bit about these cycles. One thing that's important is that I've put the picture of the red tent on the slide 2 slides back, because it's an amazing book by Anita Diamante. And if you haven't yet read it, I really recommend you read it. It's really, really valuable. And what it does is it reconnects us to the trials and tribulations of being a woman, and also the joys of being a woman and procreating. So if you haven't heard of the Red Tent Movement, look into it. Look up online what the Red Tent Movement is, because as a result of that book, many, many women decided to start gathering together, and this is why. Back in the day, before artificial lighting and synthetic hormone-based contraception, we all used to come on at the same time. We would actually bleed with the new moon and we would conceive with the full moon. So our cycle was really strongly connected to the moon. Now, the fishermen also know about the moon. I'll go back into that in a moment. But being tuned into the moon and your emotional states is really helpful. And so is setting intentions with the new moon. And then with the full moon, acting like a magnet and enjoying and celebrating the idea that what you set into motion with the new moon is starting to come towards you with the full moon. And every full moon will show you what is out of alignment with your intentions. So full moons are emotionally volatile and powerful times. They bring partnerships, relationships of all kinds, but family life, and also our home into the spotlight. So whatever intention you have for your new moon, the full moon will then bring up what you need to work with to release as the moon wanes before the next new moon. And so we get this amazing opportunity to co-create with nature. And the more you get out in nature, the more you get connected to nature, the more you're going to be able to activate your natural cycles. The other thing that's important here is that the woman's realm is around feeling. It's not the thinking realm. Of course we think, of course we've got wonderful degrees and we're highly intelligent, but we sometime long, long ago stopped valuing the feeling and intuitive qualities of being, and of being the feminine principle. And this is what we need to claim back, because no university degree is going to help you get pregnant. No university degree is going to help you to give birth, and no university degree is going to help you to parent. It's all about undoing, my ladies, okay? And if I've got fathers to be also on this call or going to be listening to it later, I'm so happy, because I'll talk later about how important it is for partners to be on board too. Okay, so the power of woman. Creativity, sexuality, and fertility. This is woman's magic. The three are totally tied up. Okay, how we feel about our sexuality, how creative we are in our ability to express our creativity, and how our fertility is working for us are all connected up. Female empowerment is not acting like a man. You know, what we've learned since the Thatcher days, when we had this whole women are equal to men, we are equal, of course we are, but we're different as well, and we need to celebrate these differences. Putting huge shoulder pads on and shoving your pelvis forward and walking like a man and being aggressive like a man isn't going to help you to give birth. It's not going to help you to conceive. The conceptive state is a receptive state, and that means softening. It means relaxing. It means undoing. And this is also going to mean that you need to pay attention to the type of exercise that you're doing. More on that later. And also, I want to mention the power of now. Now is the only moment that we can create in. It affects our past and our future because actually time is non-linear. I said to you in the reality crafting that we are multi-dimensional beings. The life that you're experiencing today is made of the thoughts and expectations you had yesterday. And the thoughts you think today are forming your experience of tomorrow. Contemplate that. Fishermen know to follow the moon, as I said. There is such a link between water, liquids, and the moon that fishermen know to respect that. It affects the tides, it draws on them. I remember my stepsister telling me long ago that we're much more likely to conceive on a full moon because we draw liquids into us. Our bodies are made of 60% water. Sperm is liquid. Women would conceive with the full moon in the past before artificial light, remember? Maternity units are always more busy on full moons. Ask any midwife or doula. And our own bodily secretions are also affected by the moon. Now, bear with me, because if you're going through a cycle of IVF or any kind of assisted fertility program, this is still relevant, and I'll explain why. Here's something that will help you. So when we think about our own vaginal secretions, I wonder how many of you actually check inside of you and feel on a daily basis how moist you are. It's really important we make a connection with the parts of our body that we actually involve with conception and with birth. So I invite you to feel inside of yourself and also to feel for your cervix, because if you've never felt your cervix before, you definitely need to make a connection with that. It's very, very powerful. So here we go. When the rains come and the earth is moist, seeds can grow. When the rains stop, the earth is still moist, so seeds can still grow. When the rains have gone and the soil is dry, no seeds can grow. I'm not sure if you read anywhere yet, but women are known, especially as they get older, not that that matters, by the way, because it's all about how vital you are rather than your age, that oh, I've lost my thought. Where am I? Okay, so we know that we can release more than one egg a month. And you've heard about situations where women have got pregnant on their periods, and that's when they've received they have released more than one egg in 1 month, or they have a very short cycle. So by checking your vaginal secretions, it gives you an idea of actually how fertile you are beyond whatever, process you are using at the moment to let you know when you're ovulating. Your body has loads of signals that it will tell you when you are ovulating. Your breasts can tingle. You can even feel ovulation going on in one of your ovaries. If you start to practice deep belly breathing, your vaginal secretions will let you know. Of course, you can do temperature. I'm not such a fan of taking a temperature. The more sort of we get into scientist mode, the more we get out of our feeling state and back into this neocortex state, which isn't really helpful for being in the being state. Now, what will help you as we move through these last slides is whether you are intending to conceive naturally and currently that's where you're at, or whether you're embarking on an assisted fertility program, working with the moon can still really help you. So if you are embarking on a natural conception cycle at the moment, harmonize your cycle with the moon. This really helps. So your emotional state and also your cycle. So where are you in relation to the cycle of the moon? We want to be able to get you so that you are ovulating with the full moon and you are bleeding with the new moon. And there is something you can do with flaxseed oil and also with evening primrose oil that will help you over time to bring your cycle in sync with the moon. Okay, if you're in an assisted fertility program, focus on the phases phases of the moon and your emotions, so you can still use the moon to navigate where you are in yourself and entrain with the natural rhythms of the earth, because this again is going to support you. Everything that you do with the assisted fertility treatment will also benefit from this, because you're getting all of you to work together rather than half of you working upstream and half of you working downstream. So here's something very simple you can do. You can ask yourself how you feel during each moon phase. You can create a moon diary, and that's going to be a suggestion for this action point, for this secret. And the moon diary is actually going to help you to get in touch with the fact that you have natural rhythms with your emotional state too. And this will affect how you are with your partner, how you are at work, how you are with other children if you have them, how you feel inside yourself, whether you feel strong, vulnerable, empowered, happy, joyful, depressed. You know, you will start to notice a pattern. So just keep it really simple. How do you feel with the new moon? Write it down. How do you feel with the moon waxing, so when it's growing towards the full moon? How do you actually feel on the full moon, and how do you feel when the moon is waning? Starting to ask those questions will really help you to get more in sync with these natural rhythms I've been talking about. And also, if you are working with a natural fertility program at the moment, getting connected with the moon phases and also your cycle will help. So you can keep a moon diary where, here it is here, you can keep a moon diary that charts your emotional state during the phases of the moon. If you're not involved with an assisted fertility program, chart where you are in your cycle along with the phases of the moon and your emotions. Now, if you're up for it, you can say yay, and you can put that in the chat box. It's something that is simple enough, and it's really good to keep a diary of your emotional states, because again, this will help you to feel more receptive to your natural cycles. And here's a little secret: men have their own cycles too. They don't bleed, but if your partner was to keep a diary of their emotional states and looked at the moon, they would see that they're also affected by it. You need to do it for a few months, but it's there. So here's a little graphic we created for you, which is a way to start you off. You can do this on an Excel spreadsheet. How are your moods? How does your body feel? How does your skin and hair feel? And then you follow where you are with your bleeding phase. And you can also tie that into the moon, okay? So where the phase of the moon is. All right, so we've got through 2 secrets. We're moving on to the third one now, the Freud effect, what your grandmother has to do with your fertility and what you can do about it. Wow, I've got 100% of you that are saying you can commit to a moon diary. That's absolutely amazing. Go you! All right, ancestral influences. Did you know that the egg that made each of us was present in our grandmother's body? Did you also know that the egg that you release this month was programmed to be released 3 months ago, according to how you perceived the environment? So how stressed you were, how happy you were. That's all informing which egg of your supply is going to be released each month. So the most hardy egg for your perceived environment is the one that's going to be pushed to the front of the queue, and that's the one that's going to be released. Now, what was your grandmother's experience? What was your mother's experience? And what was your own experience? Why is this so important? Well, in the first few months of pregnancy, the central nervous system is laid down, the brain, the basic brain. Also the heart, there's a heartbeat from around 4 or 5 weeks of gestation. And this is the time when we keep it a secret. But the homeostasis of your nervous system is set in the womb when you are in your mother's womb. So if your mum is naturally very stressed, you're going to be stressed. It's going to be natural for you to have a more flighty personality, to get anxious easily. And this is to do with the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland axis, and how easily this is triggered. Now, from about 4 months in utero, a baby girl has all the eggs in her that are going to then be the eggs that she produces once she is of an age where she's menstruating. And that's why you have been physically affected by your grandmother's experience while she was pregnant with your mother. Why is this so important? Well, we're all in a state of post-traumatic stress. Our great-grandmothers and our grandmothers experienced wars. We're living, luckily, in a country at the moment that doesn't have bombs dropping on it, but we've got the issue of refugees that are coming to us. Not so long ago, we were sending our children away. We were fearing for our own lives. We were losing our partners. We were losing our loved ones. You know, this was only a few generations ago. There have been plenty of studies done to show how famine affects affects placenta growth. And whether a woman experienced a family in the first trimester, second or third trimester of her pregnancy will not only determine the size of the placenta, but also the predisposition of that child that's going to be born towards eating disorders, towards being obese, and also to mental health disorders. This is huge. So the idea that was of old, that, you know, we're just born with our genetic disposition and it expresses itself, there's been this huge debate about nature or nurture. It is both. And neuroplasticity, which is something I learned through teaching the baby yoga programs, means that our babies are constantly responding to our perception of things, both inside the womb and outside the womb. So what do we want to do? We want to turn off the HPA axis. We want to say, chill, everything's cool, I am safe, baby, you are safe. Now, fathers, fertilization, placentas, and surrender. This is so important. Okay, so this is deep, okay? But penetration brings a lot of stuff up, especially if we have a sexual history of abuse, or if our mothers or grandmothers or great-grandmothers do. So questions we can ask ourselves, and again, this is part of clearing this. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because there is a solution. Do you feel safe to be penetrated sexually? If you don't feel safe to be penetrated sexually, maybe your eggs don't feel safe to be penetrated by sperm. Think back to your mum or grandmother's story. And the thing is, you might feel fine, but your subconscious is living out the programs of your mother or your grandmother. Now let's take this another level. Does your body feel safe to be penetrated by foreign DNA, the alien invasion? You know why? Because that sperm that's coming in to penetrate that egg, it's not your DNA. And for the first few weeks of pregnancy, it's hormones that keep the pregnancy going. But there's a time between 10 and 14 weeks of pregnancy where the placenta is embedding into the uterus. And it's like a parasite, okay? It's not your DNA, and it's trying to embed itself into the lining of your uterus. And there may be cellular memory there that says, no way, Jose, we're not doing that. Now, what's interesting is the cells, so the DNA that makes up the placenta is actually from the sperm, from the man. And that's why we often feel so ill in the first weeks of pregnancy, because it's not actually our body. We've got an invasion inside of us. And dad contributes 50% of the DNA that makes the child. So actually his physical, emotional, and psychological disposition is very important too. You know, he needs to get on board. It's not about you doing all the work and living a clean lifestyle. He also needs to learn to relax, to cut out the hormone disruptive stuff, to move away from the environmental toxins, and to join you in the intention of creating a well-feathered nest. Now, that nest is both your womb and it's also your home and your home life. And I'll talk about that a bit later too. So you're both really important. And there are lots of practices you can do together that bypass the chatting, which gets us into arguments and actually just brings us into a space of harmony and being. And I really want to promote that. So I hope that you like this next slide, which is Louise's best efforts, my lovely PA. That's a periscope and a pregnant woman looking out, because think of pregnancy, you know, it's ancestral influences, environmental factors as experienced by the mother, so how she perceives the environment that she's in, her emotions, thoughts, and beliefs, and 50% of the DNA of the father create our cellular memory. They create the foundations of our programming. This is massive. It's absolutely massive. Take a breath. So think of it this way. Think of a maternal periscope as the eyes of the mother feeding information through her hormonal responses to her baby about the world she is perceiving around her. Babies are born to be able to survive the world they are born into. They adapt to it according to the information passed through mother to baby. So, okay, we know this. I've seen it so many times. Mum's pregnant, great Auntie Edna always likes to come in and hold the bump and say, how are you doing? Oh, you're fat. Oh, that's not a big bump or whatever. And mum doesn't like great Auntie Edna at all. So move on, baby's been born, baby then meets all the family, and mum's holding the baby, and Aunt Edna wants to hold the baby. Well, every time we pass the baby to Aunt Edna, guess what happens? Baby starts crying. Why do you think? Well, mum doesn't like Aunt Edna, so do you think the baby does? Oh no, this is what I mean. Our babies are programmed to like what we like and dislike what we don't like in order to stay away from danger. And it is the mother that affects this, not the father, because it's the mother that the baby grows in. So what's most important here is that the father provides the support for the mother to feel safe. And there you have everybody working together to bring this baby earthside. Okay, science news flash. I'm going to whiz through this because we've got quite a lot to get through still, and this is really around the fact that the science is there by Dr. Bruce Lipton around the fact that our cells operate differently to how we used to think they did and how we learned at school. Okay, so the brain of the cell is not the nucleus, it's actually the membrane, it's the cell wall, which is like, and it has environmental receptors. It's perceiving the environment and adapting its expression accordingly. It's our senses that pass information to our cells as to how to express themselves. Cellular memory is programmed by the subconscious. If you change the programming, so if you change the perception of the mother while she's got a baby in the womb or before she has a baby in the womb, then this is going to change the expression of the cells and the DNA. They respond differently. So this is my welcome to Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, which I first came across through my birthlight training. And he's written these 3 amazing books. I cannot recommend him enough. There are chapters in the biology of belief about conscious parenting and the honeymoon effect. I would recommend these books as a great holiday read. Both mum and dad should read them because it's so informative. It tells you what is the issue, but it can't change it for you. And this moves us forward into what we're going to be talking about next. The Spontaneous Evolution is available as a CD set. It blew me away. But the main thing here is that this work underpins all of the birthlight work that we do. And it's, you know, whatever I'm saying might sound a little bit woo-woo, but it is actually steeped in the latest scientific and medical discoveries. So it's worth noting that there's a time lag. Again, like what our medical system, our allopathic system is working towards is actually about 15 to 20 years out of date. And there are newer and newer discoveries all of the time. And that's the kind of thing that you learn through birthlight. It's the kind of thing that you learn through doing these programs that I'm going to be talking about in a moment. All right, take a deep breath. Did your doctor mention any of that to you? And now that you know that actually ancestral influences, cellular memory, natural cycles of the earth, and your personal intentions can have an effect on your ability to conceive, what can you do about these influences? And how do I fit in with you conceiving your baby? Well, I am known as a baby whisperer. I've worked with lots and lots of babies over time, and I consider myself an ambassador for your baby, so I am a voice for their needs. What I talk about is conscious parenting, both before conception, during pregnancy, and postnatally. What is it exactly? It's raising children that are going to be peacekeepers. It's raising children where we value the fact that their emotional needs need to be met, their physical needs need to be met, and if they are, they feel safe in the world. If they feel safe in the world, they don't feel the need to keep co-creating drama on this planet. You may have heard of indigo, crystal, and rainbow children. If you haven't, look them up. It's absolutely amazing. And what I'm talking about here is the sensitive souls, the enlightened, evolved souls that want to come to this planet, but need parents to have lined up with their sensitivities. They need to know that their needs are going to be met. They need to know that their parents aren't going to stuff down pain by taking painkillers all the time and sweeping things under the carpet, but they're actually going to work consciously with what's going on in their lives so that they can provide the best possible environment for their babies to grow in, so that they're thriving, not just surviving. And I'll give you a little example here. A woman who is in a constant state of stress, and I mean constant, high stress environment, is going to produce a baby where the hind brain is more developed than the frontal brain, the neocortex. Now, these babies are going to act first, think later. They're programmed to fight, flight, freeze. If the neocortex isn't well developed, then the capacity to think things through before acting isn't developed. And there's also a part of the brain that is to do with empathy that can't be triggered if the trauma is consistent and if it is also followed by birth trauma. When we're stressed in our pregnancy, we're more likely to have a traumatic birth. And if we don't clear the birth trauma, then the empathetic aspect of the brain can't be turned on. Now, this says a lot about those of us who are able to actually kill, we're able to cause harm to others, and those of us who are looking for a different way. And I am absolutely convinced, as are many, many other people, that actually we're here to seed a new earth. We're here to bring peace to earth. And that is what I'm promoting. So your subconscious mind is in control 90% of the time, okay? So you can only really use your conscious state, your conscious mind, to think better thoughts or make necessary changes is only effective when you are mindful and consciously aware of what you're doing. So the moment you're on autopilot, your subconscious kicks in again. This is why it's so important to clear emotional and psychological toxicity from your programming so that your subconscious and your conscious mind are in alignment. If the conscious and subconscious mind antagonize each other, the changes your conscious mind wants to make can't happen effectively or for long-lasting results. And this will explain why we get to a certain point in pregnancy and then we miscarry, or we don't even get pregnant in the first place. The answer is to work with both to effect true and lasting change for you and your soul child. Remember, I'm an emotional mental detox coach. Well, I came to be an emotional mental detox coach through Dr. Bruce Lipton's work. I was fascinated by his work through my training with Birthlight, and I wanted to find a program that would actually help me to clear my subconscious programming, because I'd spent years as a yoga teacher working with a conscious mind and trying to affect my subconscious through my yoga, but it takes a long, long time that way. Now, thankfully, through Bruce, I found Susanna. I found Susanna Kennedy and Reality Crafting, and through Reality Crafting, the emotional mental detox program, which is part of my program I'm going to talk about in a moment, you clear your cellular memory, you heal your ancestral influences and lay the past to rest, and this affects our DNA expression. So anyone with chromosomal disorders, take heart, okay? Now, what is emotional mental detoxification? It's deep relaxation plus theta brainwave entrainment music plus intention plus breath work. It is powerful and it works. It deals with the causes of physical and emotional and psychological issues, and that includes making babies. So lasting changes come from working with the subconscious and conscious mind. And you also need to work with the physical body so that you can clear the effects of cellular memory quicker and anchor the new programming with physical alignment. That's where the yoga does come in. It speeds everything up. When you work with the EM detox and the physical practices, this is like the super fast way of doing things. You also need to work with the various energetic bodies. So that includes the pranic, emotional and mental bodies. And your partner also needs to work with you. So you're both sharing the intention and feeding it. Now, a lot of guys can be reluctant and some are really willing, and that's great, but we have to have fun practices, and a lot of them, you'll be pleased to know, are actually in the bedroom. So that usually gets their interest piqued, and massage and gentle stretches you can do together and breath work you can do together. But this is about developing intimacy and deepening your bonds together so that your partner doesn't feel like a sperminator, because you know what it's like if you've been quote unquote trying for a while. It takes the magic out, and that's a shame, because the magic is needed. The hormones that make babies also birth babies, and when we have true joyful ecstatic union taking place rather than mechanical procedures, it is a far more welcoming space for a baby to come into. Those hormones are the hormones that really make us feel yummy and loved and held, and that is the nest you want your baby to come. And that's also what we want to work with, is the soul that wants to come. So knowing all of those things and knowing they're all important, do you want to detox your subconscious programming, clear your cellular memory, ancestral influences, and align fully with yourself, your partner, and the one that wants to come? Well, I have just the answer for you. It's the Conceive with Ease program, and this has been my baby recently. So introducing you to the Conceive with Ease online program. And this is all about what you can do to balance and harmonize your own body, emotions, and moods. It includes the emotional and mental detox modules designed to clear the past and reprogram your subconscious expectations. It includes video, audio, and written materials to lift you into a vibrational state that resonates with healthy conception and pregnancy, and it helps you to maintain it. So it's the practice that makes it stick. lets you know exactly what to do and when, depending on your circumstances. So it works really well whether you're going through assisted fertility programs or you are working with conceiving naturally. And it's available as a self-study digital option and as a 3-month live coaching program, which is where I offer you the reality crafting to speed up the results. And, you know, I really wanted to tell you about that because it is the coaching that really helps speed things along. The digital program works really well as well. And if you're confident and disciplined and working on your own, you will get great results. But if you feel you need a little more, I'll explain why the coaching helps so much in a moment. So the 12 modules are designed to work with the causes, symptoms, and effects of fertility issues. And the first modules, so 1 to 7, deal with the hidden causes that can block healthy conception. These are things we've talked about already, the ancestral influences, our history, everything that's gone on. It helps clear the cellular memory and the negative ancestral influences and reprogramming your subconscious. So it's really powerful, 7 modules there. And modules 8 to 12 prepare you for a healthy and happy journey into parenthood by reconnecting you with your own inner guidance, your rhythms, emotions, and cycles, and harmonizing them with your partner and your environment. Also helps to prepare fully to welcome a baby into your life by learning to meet your own needs first so that you can readily and easily meet the needs of your unborn child from conception onwards. And this is what we do in our pregnancy yoga when I teach. We nurture the mother so that she learns to nurture her baby. It will help you navigate through natural and assisted fertility options by discovering what's right for you. And it is packed full of small changes to your current lifestyle that yield a huge result and put the message out to your baby, come baby, come. Right, I'll whiz through this for you. These are the modules and what they cover. So you've got loads of video content, you've got audio content. The first module is all about setting an intention for a happy and healthy pregnancy, and we go through in much more detail some of the things that I've covered today and a whole lot more. You'll get materials to work with from the moment you sign up to the course, even though the live program is starting a little later on, which I'll explain. And this will really help you to get into the space of an elegant detox, a graceful and easy and elegant detox. Modules 2 to 7 will take you through the different areas of emotional and mental detoxification. So male aspect detox, anger and distrust towards men and male energy. The female aspect detox is anger and distrust towards women and feminine energy. And trust me, we've got more than you realize on both accounts. The fourth module is all about fear and releasing fear from your cellular memory and your programming, anxiety, worry, terror, panic, fear, and doubt. Module 5 is all around pain, sadness, grief, loss. And if you've been through a lot of loss, whether it's losing parents or children, it's a huge thing to release. Guilt is the 6th module. Judgment, blame, shame, guilt, jealousy, and unworthiness. I was full of that. That comes from my ancestral lineage and being Greek. And, you know, the cultural stuff there. So culture really affects our mindset as well. And finally, the lack aspect is the detox, is all around limitation, scarcity, separation, and fear of failure or success. So module 8 will cover moon magic and women's secrets in a lot more detail. And what's really important here is we provide you with a moon diary for your cycle, phases of the moon and emotions, breathing practices to balance your nervous system so we can calm that HPA axis down and stop triggering it. I go into a lot of detail about what types of exercise and yoga to do and when in your cycle, because one thing I notice is a lot of women are doing too much adrenaline-based exercise. They're wanting to conceive, but actually the hormones that they're producing through their exercise is promoting more adrenaline in their body than oxytocin. And that's not helpful. So we really need to know when to push it and when to rest. And also we cover sleep and moon phases. So sleep and moon phases is all to do with when you, well, I'll talk about it on the program more, but it's helps you and it helps your melatonin levels and it helps you to get back into the rhythms of the moon. Module 9 covers yoga practices for each stage of your cycle. So this is video content, moontime, ovulation, releasing stress and challenging emotions, yoga for better sleep, mudras for healthy conception. Module 10 is all about nutrition and lifestyle secrets that change everything. Now, I'm not a nutritionist, but I work with some top nutritionists. And what we're going to offer you is a Vitality ebook, which is, again, small changes that make a big difference in your day-to-day life. Nutrition secrets for zingy sperm and happy eggs. Oxytocin versus adrenaline and how you can switch into an oxytocin response. And then increasing free testosterone for men. There's also more to this, which is about reducing environmental toxins and also hormone disruptive foods in your diet. Module 11, this is really where the partners come in as well. So, you know, these are practices and exercises for aligning your lifestyle with your intention, preparing the nest, clearing the home of stressful energy, making space for a baby in your lives. And how do you relax at the moment? Like, what is your life like? How do you expect it's going to change? We look at planning support networks and how you each feel about different things that are definitely going to come up as big decisions regarding how you're going to bring your children up. And then we're looking again at the public health paradigm and how that relates to conscious and holistic parenting. So, you know, I just wish I had all of this before I had my daughter. I was very young when I had her. And, you know, seeing the effects of not being well prepared and not having cleared my own emotional and psychological toxicity is something you have to live with, because you see your children live out what you haven't cleared in yourself. And that is painful. I would wish for everybody to have the opportunity to clear this stuff out before they have their babies, and certainly before their children reach the age of 7, because if you change your programming and they're under the age of 7, they're still in the brainwave patterns. That means that their cellular memory changes too. And that's pure magic. Finally, module 12, sacred practices for couples to do together. Meet your baby guided audio visualization, partner yoga practices, partner breathing practices, partner massage, and sexual pleasure and intimacy. And don't worry, everything that I'll be teaching keeps your clothes on. There won't be any dodgy videos. Now, there is a testimonial here I'm going to read to you from one of my clients, Louise, and she was working with me before she embarked on the Conceive with Ease program, and then she decided to work with it fully, and that is when things changed. So here's what she says. I was recommended Rosie by my nutritionist after I was trying to conceive my second child following a pregnancy loss. Rosie is warm and was so understanding of my journey. She instantly made me feel safe and secure in her space, where I was able to work through the pain of losing a much-wanted pregnancy due to chromosomal issues. We began working on a way to prepare my body both physically and emotionally to try to conceive again. I conceived another 3 times in under a year and sadly lost them all. 2 suspected chromosomal issues, 1 confirmed. My sessions with Rosie became a huge source of strength, light, and positivity to keep moving forward. It was then that I decided, so after these losses, that she decided to embark on the Conceive with Ease program that I was running. I was drawn to it as a way of committing to daily meditation and yoga and the practices that would also help me to clear my cells of anything I no longer needed, giving my DNA the opportunity to express itself differently in preparation for my next conception. The transformation was profound. I had a greater ability to stay positive. It gave me a new energy and shifted my focus of trying to desperately get pregnant to believing and trusting all was happening in perfect timing. Then finally I conceived again, and I'm now 25 weeks pregnant with a chromosomally healthy baby I just can't wait to meet. I tell you, her story, it's been such a joy to work with her. And honestly, like, if you have an obsessive mind, I've worked with a lot of clients who have really obsessive minds, and this program is amazing for that because it helps you to get using your brain differently. So instead of constantly obsessing, you redirect it. And here's another one from Deborah, just to say thank you for your support on Wednesday. Now, this is to do with the coaching program that she's on already. With my soul family. So this is what happens when you work in a group. It really helped to give me the strength for Friday. And as it turns out, I was fearing the fear. The doc called me in the afternoon to say my ovarian reserve has actually gone up from 2.7 to 5.4. The normal level is about 11 to 14. I just can't believe it. The doc said with my positive attitude, I should definitely have another go if I feel emotionally and financially ready to do so, as this is just as important as the quality of my eggs. Now, a doctor said that, okay, my positive attitude, I should definitely give it another go. I'll say a little bit more about Deborah. Deborah has learnt that most important in her life was to get back into joy. She got so committed to having a baby and one round after another of cycles of IVF and the constant disappointment that she'd lost the joy in her life and even in her partnership. And she's just been having so much fun with her partner recently and herself and being like a giggly teenager again and getting in the place where she's loving her life before she attempts again another cycle. So we're moving into the program, and here are the 3 options for you. Now, you can do this, the silver option, and I'm giving you a special deal for being on this call. The Conceive with Ease online program is a digital program that will feed out to you 1 week at a time. It's a self-study program for those happy to work at their own pace. This package includes 6 weeks of emotional mental detox meditations and 6 weeks Conceive with Ease yoga-based modules where we cover everything I talked to you about before, and there are extra bonuses you'll get as well. That's a total of £597, or you can pay by 3 installments of £210. Next, we have the Conceive with Ease coaching program. This is the gold program. Now, this is where I was talking about the coaching, and if you decide to come onto the group coaching program, the cost is £997 to you for being on this call. It's normally nearly £1,200, but because I know how well this works and the results that we've had, I really wanted to make this more publicly available to everyone. And you can pay by installments. You can do 3 installments of £350 if you prefer. And for those of you wishing to fast track your results with coaching and would like the support and accountability offered by an intimate group setting, this is the best possible option. If you think about this as an investment in terms of anything you do beyond this, it's 3 months. So the 3 months that you work with me, we're basically resetting your baseline and we are informing the eggs that are going to be released. So by the time you get to the end of the program, the eggs that you release are going to be eggs that have been part of this program. So there's a different cellular memory that's taking place. Now, anyone who feels they really need the one-to-one, there is an opportunity to work with me one-to-one online. So you get all of the digital modules, which you get on each level of this program. And to work with me one-to-one, you have the opportunity to do this with me for £2,997. You're saving £504. It's normally just over £3,500. And you can also pay by 3 installments. Now, this is for optimal results working with me on a one-to-one basis. This premium program is including all the gold program plus some individual extras. All programs come with a lifetime access to the content, including replays of all of the coaching sessions. And that is really, really important. So just take a moment. If money wasn't an object, which one of these 3 programs do you feel most guided to? And really give yourself permission to feel into this. Because this is about you and your future. This is about the fact that taking the time to do this first is going to support anything you do beyond. So if you do feel you need to go into an assisted fertility program, it's going to maximize your chances because you have done everything in your power. You're not just leaving it to statistics and chance. You are laying the foundation. And here's why to go for the live coaching program. I have had in the past a high conversion rate from digital customers to online coaching. Why is that? You know, they start off with a digital program and then they contact me and they're like, Rosie, can I come on the coaching program? It's because they fall behind. It's because they're not motivated to continue. Things get in the way. They get lost. They're not sure if they're doing it right. Of course, you can email me. But the support that you get from a live program involves really being able to move forward through the blocks. So we keep on track, we troubleshoot challenges, we speed up the results and the accountability and the support of a group. The support is really important, knowing you're in the same boat as others, and the way you each nurture each other really, really does help with the co-creations. You email in ahead of time your celebrations and your challenges, and this will then help me to tailor the reality crafting practices that we're going to do. So even if you can't actually make it on the call, so if you miss a week, you can email me ahead of time what's going on, and I'm still going to address the issue on the webinar. So when you listen to the replay, you've got something tailor-made for you. And honestly, like, it's the support of the group that helps so much with this reality crafting. You've already felt what it felt like. Imagine that if you've got others amplifying it. Group coaching is a mix of live check-ins, so we check in with each other, how we're doing, and then reality crafting to clear the blocks and then I present something to do with a theme that's covered by the listed modules. So each week I'll be talking about something to do with that particular module and supporting you to understand a little bit more about it. Personally, in 3 months of coaching, I got further than in 10 years of self-study. And this is what I mean. It is the fast track. How long do you have to wait for what you want? Just think about that. It is women. It's generally women that are on these calls. And supporting each other in co-creating is a very powerful, powerful tool. So we've got a couple more testimonials here. I'm just going to read them out to you because this sort of gives you an experience of what others who've been doing the co-creating with me and the reality crafting have actually got from it. Since starting this amazing journey with Rosie, I've gained so much trust in myself and have become a more comfortable and confident person. Rosie's weekly webinars have given me that time to be reflective on how I am showing up in life and to be celebratory about myself when I have used the tools and seen changes in myself and my reactions to others. The weekly visualizations Rosie takes us through are really powerful for me as I'm a highly visual person, and the feelings of great peace and clarity that comes afterwards is beautiful. She's helped me through some very challenging times and given me tools to use in moments of high stress. I'm only halfway through the program but have gained so much from it already. I'm excited to see where it's going to take me in the next couple of months. It's also comforting to know I have a lifetime access to all of the meditations, Rosie's toolkit, and the visualizations. I hugely recommend taking the program. Let go of any skepticism and take this step to change your life. Now, Gwen is a mother of 2 daughters. She's got an autistic daughter, and she's had to work a lot to increase her sensitivity to her daughter. And it has been amazing to see her claim her womanhood, her womb and her femininity and her strength as someone who can trust her intuition and give to herself as well as her family. Another one from Aileen. Just finished listening to Saturday's webinar. Thank you both so much. Rosie, you really have captured the meaning of what I've been feeling, and thank you both for the energy work you did for me. It was funny, I'm holding the baby, and as I was expanding my new lovely energy field, he had a very strong reaction at just that moment. Amazing. This is what I mean. It affects our babies in utero and out, and it affects them before they even come, believe it or not. From Claire. Having been through this amazing life-changing program with Rosie, I can add that it really isn't difficult or painful. I've had some massive challenges and obstacles to overcome, and with Rosie and the program as my guide, I've felt supported and I've really learned to love myself, the most important lesson. Living life without fear is so liberating, fun, and full of endless possibilities. Try it. You might love it. What kind of gift is that to give to your babies? So when is this starting? The live Conceive with Ease online coaching program is actually going to be starting on the 5th of October, Wednesday the 5th of October, and you've got the option of 7:30 till 9 in the evening, and this is GMT, so we'll be out of British summertime, I think, or we might still be in British summertime at times, so we'll check that. Or you can do the morning program, 10:15 to 11:45. You can state your preference when you're booking and paying. And you'll be given all the materials necessary to prepare for the program immediately. So once you've paid, we're going to give you the first module to start working with so that you're ready to do a nice, elegant, graceful and easy detox as we start with module 2 and 3. And for anyone who wants to do the one-to-one, we agree a time and a date between us. And what if you find out that you're pregnant when the course starts or during its duration? No problem. Everything you will learn on the program will support you through early pregnancy and the whole of your mothering journey. You can continue with the module whilst pregnant and they will only do you good. And you can expect some extra bonus video content to support you through each trimester from me. Okay, my guarantee to you is, although I cannot guarantee that you'll be pregnant by the end of the course, what I can promise you is that you'll feel much happier, healthier, tuned in and confident in yourself, your intuition and your life. I believe strongly that all those who seek to become parents have a soul contract to be parents. This may or may not involve being pregnant with your own DNA match baby. Perhaps you'll decide to accept sperm or egg donation as an option or choose to foster or adopt children. The more blocks you clear in yourselves, the clearer the way becomes as to what is right for you. I do not offer a money-back guarantee as you enter into an energetic contract with me. And once you have committed to the program, it starts to work straight away. Here are your fertility bonuses. So we've come to the end of this presentation. I'm sorry it's gone a little bit over, but for those of you who have stayed on, this is what you're going to get from me. You got the embodied awareness meditation, which will help you to feel safe in your inner world. You've got Gaia, Source, and Higher Self activation, which is going to help you to get all of the support from the cosmos and also from the earth and open you up to the energetic support of your subtle guidance system, which I can talk to you more about if you're interested. But basically, it unblocks you and it opens you up to all the support that's available. And the breath band of vinyasa helps you to feel safe in your outer world. So we're going to email you the link to all of these bonuses. And for those of you who are going to invest in any of the programs I've just mentioned, so whether you go for the digital, you go for the group coaching or the one-to-one, these bonuses form part of the first module. So you can all get away with this, and I really wish that you have found this useful, because It's a lot of information we have covered, and I hope it's given you a different perspective on becoming pregnant and actually what can block it, because our focus is so on trying to do things rather than to be. You've already heard me talk about it. I'm not going to go too much on about that. So finally, from me, I just want to thank you for joining the webinar today. Whatever you decide to do next, trust that it's the right thing for you. When your heart feels warm and excited about something, this is a sure sign your inner guidance is saying yes. Follow your yes and commit to it. Everything in life aligns to help you to achieve it. So it's no accident that you're here right now. Trust that. Blessings and love from me on your journey, and I hope to be sharing more of your journey with you soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to close this presentation, and I'm going to open up the lines to questions. So if you have any questions about the course, if you have any questions that you want me to cover over anything that I have presented now, you can use the chat box, and I'm happy to stay online until you are ready to, all the questions are done. For those of you who do want to commit to the course, we're going to send you an email with the links to how you can pay for the course, so the different options that are available to you. I think also my lovely PA is going to have an opportunity to put in the chat box the link. So if you're interested straight away in buying it, you can do that. And you have 72 hours from this webinar to actually get the prices that we've given you on the webinar. So to get those discounts from the normal prices, you have 72 hours from now, from when we send you the email, to make your payment. And as soon as you've made your payment, we'll be rolling out the information that you need to prepare for the first module. So it's like a it's the first module that's going to come to you, really, that's going to support you for the rest of the modules. Now, I've got a question here, which is, how much time does the course take each week? Realistically, you are going to need about 4 hours a week for the program. Okay, so what that means is we've got about an hour and a half. If you are doing the online program, it's about 4 hours a week. If you are doing it in your own time, it's about 2.5 hours a week. And the reason for that is that the online coaching program, whether it's one-to-one or group, is about an hour and a half. I stay on until everybody's complete. Okay, that's my time with you, and I give you all the time that you need. Also, you're going to need to spend about an hour and a half on the module content. And part of the emotional mental detox modules involves having at least 1 or 2 baths a week. And the baths are basically done with apple cider vinegar. So they're detox baths. And each time you do a detox, it helps you then to clear out the toxins, emotional, mental, and psychological, from your being. And again, it accelerates the detox. So that's basically it. It's about 4 hours a week if you're doing the online course. And that's it, 3 months, and that's it. So you'll get through all of the content that's there, and that will include the time that you will be on the calls. So another question that's coming here is, what happens if I get behind? Well, if you get behind, doesn't matter. Okay, you've got the digital content to work through in your own time. I'm going to keep us to time with each of the weekly webinars, but you can catch up in your own time. That's not a problem at all. It's important that you don't stress out actually filling this program out, because if you do, it's kind of counterproductive. So it's your gift to yourself is to do the program. Okay, and if that is, that's there for you. So if you've got the time and the inclination to nurture yourself, then this is how you start. Also, Louise has put up the link here, so if you want to go ahead and buy the program now, she's put it in. I'm just trying to think whether I can copy and paste it for you so you can see it again. So has anyone else got any questions they want to ask? There it is from me. I haven't got anything else coming up at the moment, so I'll give it a couple more minutes. And I hope, as I said, that what I've said with you is actually going to inspire you. The third, so the action point for the third secret was to commit to the course, to commit to one of the courses to support you. So If that's something that you feel in resonance with, I really invite you to do it. You will not regret it. It is such a gift to give to yourself. Do we have any more questions? If you do, you should find that there is a chat box that you can raise a question in. So if you look to the right of your screen, there's a chat box. You can put your question in there. And then if you hit send, I will be able to see it. Yes. So from Despina, is the yoga content fine for someone who hasn't done any yoga before? Absolutely. It's a really good question, Despina. So yeah, none of this is about getting your leg around the back of your head or doing the splits. Basically, the yoga is very, very simple. It's very gentle, and it's yoga that will support you to move around in your daily life, both pre-conception and also during early pregnancy and as you move through mid-pregnancy and so on. So yeah, it's also for everybody, you know. It doesn't matter whether, if you have got any ailments that might prevent you from being able to go to a normal yoga class, you'll find that the way that we're working in the videos, I mean, they're short videos. I've done them in sections so you're not overwhelmed. You can just get used to the practices, and once you've learned them, you can move on to the next video. So yeah, I would just say there's no restriction there, and it's absolutely fine for beginners. So another question from Pretty, is there a course later in the year? Well, we haven't set a date for another one in the year. I know that I will be promoting the Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me program come January. So it may be that we run the course again in the springtime. But what I would say is it would, you know, if you feel like you want to get on with it, it does depend on where you are, obviously, and what you want to do. But getting on with the course now will really support you if you're looking to conceive later in the year, because you're going to have put all of the practices into place and you'll have become a master of them. And if you feel that you can't commit to the online program, remember you could listen to the replays if you can't actually make the physical time. But the digital program is obviously something you can work at in your own time. And then if you wanted to commit to doing the coaching, I have an opportunity for some of you. If you found you did the digital program and then you wanted to be involved in the coaching, then you would get a discount on doing the coaching program when it runs again. Or you could join one of the other groups that I run. It doesn't matter, but it's actually really nice when a group of women are starting together. So I hope that answers your question, Pretty. Okay, any more questions? I mean, one question that comes up is how many are there in a group? Typically 4 or 5. I mean, sometimes it's got as big as 10, but the thing that I found is that because it's a confidential group and everybody is respecting each other's privacy, the energy that builds through having each other on the call is so powerful and supportive that, you know, you're not going to have 100 people on the call. It's going to be a few. It's going to be, you know, 4 or 5. Sometimes it's a little less than that. Usually it's around 4 or 5. It can go up to 10. So I hope that answers that question. Do we have any more questions? You're all, I've still got 8 of you on the call, which is amazing. I'm really chuffed with that. If you have any more questions, then please put them in the chat box. And if a question comes up later, feel free to email me. So last chance to ask any questions now. I'm going to give it another minute and then we're going to end this webinar. You know, something I'm thinking about is the oxytocin factor, which I didn't talk about enough, but oxytocin is a really powerful hormone. It's the love hormone, and it's so important for both making babies and growing them and nurturing them. And that is a huge part of the video, the video-based content that we do. All the practices that are yoga-based help to promote the oxytocin factor. Marie, have you had many success stories? Yes, Marie, I have. In the end, you know, I like to work with people in a very deep way, and the people that I work with get pregnant. That's what happens. There have been, you know, instances where there's been a need to go down the egg donor route, for example, but that has been something that has become very clear that it feels the right thing. So what I do is I work with the women that I'm working with to uncover their deeper truth. It's about coming into your authentic self, clearing all the stuff that's standing in the way, and then being able to make decisions from a very clear place. So I'm used to working with women who have either very challenging medical situations where they've had a lot of repeat miscarriages, or they've cycles of IVF that haven't succeeded. And I'm also used to working with women who have no known cause. There's no reason why medically they can't get pregnant, but working with them and working with these methods has really helped them to get pregnant. And so I'm very confident in what I'm offering you today. This is stuff that works on a very deep level, but you have got to allow it to work. And I have had the experience in the past of working with people that kind of do this work on a surface level, but haven't allowed themselves to go deeply into the program and to allow the changes to take place. So what you get out of it is really what you put into it. This isn't a mind game. It's about going deep into yourself and being willing to feel what is there, feeling very well supported. I hope that answers your question. Any more questions? It looks like, oh, one more. Danashri, thank you, Rosie, for the wonderful webinar. Oh, your blessings, blessings. So lovely to connect with you, Danashri. And to all of you, thank you for your time. I really hope you found it useful. It's been such a pleasure to share this with you. It's my life's work, and I just feel really grateful that you've been open to spending the time with me. And I hope to be continuing my journey with you, or your journey with me. And do take advantage of the offers, because you know, we really want to try and get as many of you succeeding on your journey as possible. My heart is just with you. I'm just holding my heart at the moment, and I'm sending each of you a heart hug and really big sisterly group hug. See how we don't even need to be together and we can all feel it. Have a beautiful afternoon, everyone, and thank you, thank you, thank you. You will be receiving emails from us. And yeah, I look forward, I hope, to seeing some of you on the call in November, in October. So October the 5th, I think it says, I said we were starting. And namaste for now to you all. Lots of love. Bye.